Hello, welcome to the Villages, Florida. My name is David. I'm a realtor with Florida Realty Investments, and I can be reached at DavidisInFlorida@gmail.com. This is our weekly look at the Villages real estate market. You can get some idea as to how active it is, how quickly properties are leaving the market and entering the market. A couple of things I would alert you to. We produce this show every Monday. Make sure you check the date to ensure you're getting the most current information. Also, all of this information is drawn from the multiple listing service. It does not include any properties that are listed on the village's own internal listing service, the VLS. For that reason, if you are looking to buy a home in the villages, I suggest you get an MLS agent and a VLS agent, or else you won't be able to see everything that's on the market. Finally, if you're looking to buy a home at a good price here, or you're looking to sell your home in a reasonable period of time, please reach out to me at davidisinflorida@gmail.com. So let's start this week's show. We start by taking a look at the 10-year government bond yield, which you'll know by now most closely tracks the mortgage rate. And looking at this chart in which every bar is a day, you can see that rates have headed higher since our last show, currently getting close again to 4% on the 10-year, meaning 7% mortgages. And God forbid we actually move significantly higher from here, which looking at this chart does seem a possibility. We start looking at the villages market by looking at the total number of listings, which this week is down to 337 from 354 listings last week. Properties for sale in the villages range in price from just under $192,000 to just under $3 million. Number of listings does seem to be declining for the last couple of months. Here we take a closer look at the listings broken down by price segment. This week in the most active price segment, the $300,000 to $500,000 range, there are 224 listings. Last week there were 238. The week before there were 222. The week before that 212, and the week before that 220. Here's another look at listings. We're looking here at the median listing price per square foot, which this week is $260.38 a square foot, down from the 261.76 that we saw last week. Looking at this graph, it's hard not to see a downward trend. This graph shows us the median time on the market for all listings, which this week is 47 days compared to the 45 days that we saw last week. After seeing the median time on the market falling for the first 3 months of the year, it's distressing to see it rising yet again. This graph shows us the percentage of listings that have been on the market for more than 100 days. We're at 18% of all listings. 59 of the 337 listings have been on the market for more than 100 days. Here we look at new listings and pending home sales. This week there are 27 new listings compared to 47 last week. Number of homes that went pending over the last 7 days is 42 compared to 35 for the previous 7 days. This graph is encouraging, seeing the number of homes going pending exceed substantially the number of new listings. Here we dive into the new listings, broken down by price segment. This week, 27 new listings. Last week, 47. In the most active segment, the $300,000 to $500,000 range, the last 7 days saw 17 new listings. Previous 7, 31. 7 days prior to that, 29. 7 days prior to that, 26. And the 7 days prior to that, 21. Here we turn our attention to pending home sales. Homes that went pending over the last 7 days went pending with a median price per square foot of $246.07, down slightly from the $246.36 that we saw last week. We have been bouncing between $245 and $255. Let's see if we bounce from here. This graph shows us how long homes that went pending were on the market before going pending. 42 days the median time, down from the 44 days that we saw last week. Pending time on the market is still over 40 days, which, if you look at this graph, is on the high side. This graph shows us the price reduction in effect for the homes that went pending over the last 7 days. 4.23% is the median change from the original list price, an improvement from the 4.64% reduction that we saw last week. And our last look at pending home sales. This is a graph that shows what percentage of homes went pending within 7 days of being listed. 7 out of the 42 homes that went pending within 7 days of being listed, which is 17%, a big improvement from the 9% that we saw last week. Here we turn our attention to the homes that sold and closed over the last 7 days. 30 in the last 7 days compared to 40 the previous 7 days. Prices on the homes that closed range from 250,000 to just under 800,000. And looking at this graph, it's encouraging to see that the number of sales is at least remaining close to 30. Here's a closer look at the homes that sold and closed, broken down by price segment. Over the last 7 days, in the $300,000 to $500,000 range, there were 20 homes that closed. Previous 7 days saw 25. Previous 7, 30. The previous 7, 19, and the 7 days prior to that, 22. Here we could take a look at the price realized on these homes that closed. This is the median price per square foot on all homes that closed over the last 7 days. $246 the median price compared to $257 the previous week. We are drifting lower again and approaching 240. This is a graph that shows us how long the homes that sold and closed over the last 7 days were on the market. 48 days, the median time, up dramatically from the 22 days we saw last week, and we're approaching the longest time period for homes to close that we've seen. Here's our last look at sales, which reinforces the message. This shows us what percentage of homes that closed were on the market for 7 days or less. Over the last 7 days, it was only 13% of properties that closed compared to twice as many the previous week, and we're almost down to the lowest levels we've seen. And the last two things we look at are what percentage of listings have reduced their asking price from the original listing price. Almost 55% of listings have reduced their asking price compared to 53% last week. We're getting back to the highest levels that we've seen here on sellers having to reduce prices. And we finish with a bright spot, which is looking at what the percentage decrease was for all listings. 4.38% is the median decrease from the original listing price compared to 4.36% decrease last week. It's comforting to see that we're still under 4.5% here. So that concludes this week's look at the Village's real estate market. Once again, if you're interested in buying a home and you're trying to get a good deal, or you're trying to sell your home in a reasonable period of time for a fair price, please reach out to me at davidisinflorida@gmail.com. Be happy to help you in any way I can. Also, if you have questions about life in the Villages itself, I'll be happy to help you with that as well. Hope to hear from you. Take care.